Now, the best piece of advice I can give anybody who's got to deal with a lawn that has gotten overgrown, or it's just been too wet to mow it, you haven't been able to get to it, is to just hire somebody to do it for you. It stinks to do it. Find somebody else to do it. But if you can't do that, I've got some other ideas. Now, this grass might not look too long to some of us. You know, it's not 6 feet tall, but I'm here to tell you, this stuff is thick, it is lush, it is wet, and there is a lot of it. This is very tough for a mower to mow through. How are we going to do it? How are we going to mow this thick, wet grass without destroying the belts on the mower, without bogging the thing down, and just how do we even cut it? Because I've got a whole field of grass out here to deal with. Now, I'm pretty sure at some point I read Sun Tzu's Art of War, at least in partially, and a big thing they always talked about was choosing the battlefield. Choose the time at which the battle would happen. Don't try to go mow all this stuff early in the morning when there's still dew on it. The grass is already thick enough. Wait till the afternoon to get on top of your mowing. Seems like a silly thing to say, but you might be anxious. Give it a little time. Even if you just wait a couple hours for that dew to release, it'll make a huge difference in your ability to cut that grass. Now, step one, and I think the most important step, is to either take off your bagger and, if possible, take off your mulch kit. If we're dealing with really tall, really thick grass, both of those things will be an impediment. Now, we might not want to have a bunch of windrows on the ground, like this stuff here, just a bunch of grass laying on the ground all thick and nasty, but let's concentrating on winning the battle before trying to win the war. Okay, one step at a time. We want to cut this grass, side discharge it, and just get it on the ground. Then we can deal with it later. Thing number two we're going to do, make sure your blades are sharp. Now, while you're looking at your blades, you may, if we're in a really sticky situation with really tall grass, need to use a different style of blade. So if you have a mulching blade on your mower, or a gator blade, or something that's made to be like a hybrid blade, you might need to get yourself a high lift blade. A high lift blade is much more effective at cutting the grass once and then tossing it out the side of the deck. A low lift blade, where the lip on the side of the blade is low, is all about keeping the grass inside the deck. So if we're really in a situation here, we got some terrible grass to deal with, you may just want to switch those blades out to a high lift blade that'll just cut and expel that grass in as efficient of a manner as possible. So the next thing you got to do before you even start mowing is get in there, check your belts, make sure they're tight, make sure they're tensioned, figure out how to tension them, and make sure they're not all checked and weather damaged. Make sure your deck is at its top height. Adjust it all the way to the top. Don't try to cut low immediately. Let's cut it high. And if we need to make another pass, then we can lower the deck. Start with your deck really, really high. Okay, so how about once you actually start mowing, what should you do? The first thing I would say to do is to mow very slowly. Now, the reason you have to slow down is because these blades are trying to cut all this grass. You need to give them time to do their job. Right? They're trying to mulch or cut up a whole bunch of material at once. If you slow down, it gives them more time to do it. But what goes hand in hand with that is using only half of your deck to mow. And what I mean is, maybe the right side of your deck is the discharge side, the side the grass comes out of. The left side of your deck pushes the grass to the right side of your deck. So use the left side of your deck, the side that doesn't discharge, to be in the tall grass. And let your discharge side be shooting the grass out. Let one blade or two blades concentrate on cutting the grass, and let at least one blade concentrate on blowing the grass out the side. Now, part of that formula too is to make sure you're blasting the grass away from the tall grass. Blast your windrow the big wad of grass that's going to be laying in the middle of your field. It is what it is, or your lawn, if your lawn got really long. It's going to be laying in piles, but we don't want to have to remow over those piles. So make sure you are going in a circle with your discharge side away from the tall grass to get that grass out and away from what you're trying to cut. Asking your mower to keep cutting up and recutting up all this tall grass is not a good thing to do. After you get everything cut, then go back and you can recut that grass as many times as you want, or you can go back and bag it, or you can go back and mulch it. Now, a really big thing to do when you're trying to cut tall, thick, heavy grass is you have to listen to your deck. The mower is always going to be blasting in your ears, but your deck is that drone sound below that, and you're really going to need to listen to it. It might help actually if you put earplugs in or mufflers or whatever you call them over your ears, so you can hear that drone of the deck. And when that drone starts to change pitch, it starts to bog down, it goes down a pitch, slow down. Well, that's that deck bogging down with so much grass it can't deal with it. Slow down, let it expel that grass. So listen to your deck. Now, if we're dealing with a ton of really thick, gnarly grass, a thing that's really useful to do every now and then is stop, get out of that thick, gnarly grass, and let that deck expel some of the grass that's built up inside it. See, this grass is going to build up inside the deck. Stop, let the thing expel some grass. You might even, if you've got a lever to raise and lower your deck, kind of tap that lever up and down a little bit to let that grass fall out of the deck, because the grass will start building up inside your deck so much that it'll start sticking with more grass and more grass and more grass. Eventually it'll just clog that deck shut. Before you know it, you're blowing a belt, or your blades just can't spin, or they just can't cut anymore. So consider stopping for a minute, let that deck expel some grass, and maybe help it expel some grass. And if you need to, turn the mower off, turn it off, get in there with a stick and clean that deck out and really get all that nasty wet grass out from inside. It'll save you a lot of time in the long run. Okay, so you got all the grass cut. Now what do you do with all these giant piles of grass that are left in the field? You certainly have a few options. You can go back and bag it with your bagger. You can remow it a few times, which you may need to do. And if you really got to get rid of the grass, you can do a spiral in the opposite direction you went, blowing all the grass back to center. So at least you have just one pile in the middle of your field or lawn to scoop up. It's going to take some time. You have to still go slow, use less of the deck, because we're going to be dealing with a lot of material, but you can use that mower to blow the material to the center of where you're mowing to make it easier to collect. Now, after you're done mowing for the day, it's really important to get in here and get all that chunky, loose grass out from your deck, just to make sure it doesn't clog up your deck the next time you go to use it. So clean this deck off, and then most importantly, get in here where your engine is and get all the grass out from around your engine, because that grass can dry out on your engine or on your exhaust and cause a fire. I see it every year. Somebody has their barn or garage burned down because they were mowing tall grass. The grass was built up around their exhaust, and it smoldered overnight or the next day or the next couple days and started a fire. I use this Radiator Genie thing to get into all the little nooks and crannies, because you really got to clean out around your engine bay. Really neat little tool. So, all right, you guys, take care out there. We'll see you later.